Distracted driving is an indisputable problem here in Connecticut, and you see people in the car next to you and they're always texting, or if you're honest with yourself, maybe you do it once in a while. But here to help us put an end to texting and driving and distracted driving is, that guy that you see on the sides of buses once in a while, Mr. Carter Mario. Welcome here to CT Style, Carter.
Good morning, Ryan.
Now, you've had a little run-in yourself with distracted driving. You were on a motorcycle about 6 years ago.
Correct. So it was basically my aha moment in terms of really getting behind this movement. I was stopped on my motorcycle, and next thing I heard was some screeching, and I got launched over the car in front of me and got laid out pretty good. But It turned out that the person who hit me actually was on the phone or texting or had it down there. He told the cop, he said, I looked down for a moment, and there he was.
Wow.
So that was a big eye-opener for me.
That'd be a bad moment for him when he realized who he hit.
Yeah, he made a couple
Hitting Carter Mario, I'm sure it's very reassuring for him.
He made a few jokes about it.
Yeah, well, you're doing a great thing in the community, and you have for a few years now with Carter Cares Scholarship. Tell us a little bit about that and the whole process behind that.
So 10 years ago, we started our Carter Cares outreach program, and we started initially with drunk driving advocacy, and after that wreck that I had, we focused on distracted driving. So we're about in our 5th or 6th year with distracted driving. $20,000 last week we gave out to 10 kids for their education costs going forward next year.
Now, who are some of the kids that can enter, and what do they have to do to get involved?
Any graduating high school senior that wants to go on to college simply goes to our website, downloads the application, and they write or create a video or a song, or they do some kind of creative response to our pending question. This year was on distracted driving.
So it's great things that you are doing, but there's a little bit of a problem in the sense that there's no stigma involved anymore. People just are, it's part of society, texting and driving and distracted driving, and you've seen that with the scholarship.
Correct. Our application numbers went down a little bit this year, and when we asked the kids why, what they thought the reason was, that they said that it appears that it's so well received right now. There's no stigma. There's no black mark about doing this. Everybody does it, so they felt almost hypocritical. But the kids that get it were the ones that actually I think are going to be our leaders and our best chance of getting this thing changed going forward.
Now, do you see an increase in just texting and driving, or is it distracted driving? Is texting and driving adding on top of the other types of distracted driving?
Yeah, Ryan, I think that's hard for us to quantify, but what we see on a daily basis, more people are telling us the person that hit me was distracted, was on the phone, was texting, and we're seeing that more and more in our police reports and our investigations. So we're seeing more of a rise in distracted driving relative to the cell phone use.
Well, we have a few statistics here that we're going to bring up here on the screen, and I'll let you kind of explain. And these are some statistics that you explain to a lot of students when you're doing public speaking.
Correct. So this is an interesting graph. You can see the likelihood of crashing goes up the more distracted you are. So if you're just driving by yourself, you have a certain chance of crashing, 1% chance of crashing, all the way up to using a handheld phone, no handheld phone, and then the interesting statistic is drunk driving. So if you're driving drunk, your chances of crashing are 5.8%. Now we have a question mark because the next graph is really compelling.
Okay.
That's the number if you are texting and driving, which is staggering. And most people would not think that driving and texting is 4.5 times more likely to prevent to cause a crash than if you were drunk.
So it's an obvious problem here. You've established that, obviously, in the community, and you're doing great work, but how do you think that we can put an end to it?
Combination of a few things, Ryan. Legislatively, they have to criminalize it more than they have. It's just not enough to have a fine. That's not really stinging enough. It's got to be similar to the way we look at drunk driving. It's got to be both Department of Motor Vehicle issue, you get your license suspended, and it has to be a criminal issue where you have some jail exposure. And until they do that, and technology has to catch up with the manufacturers of the cars and the cell phones. So it's a combination of I think, the law getting behind it, getting some real teeth, and the technology catching up.
Is there anything that we can do as citizens here in Connecticut to get the legislature moving forward on that?
I think what we're doing right here. This is a perfect venue. The more we talk about it, we have to keep it up. In fact, 2 years ago, we got off this soapbox and we went to bullying, which is a big issue also. But we went back to texting and driving because it's still increasing. It's not going away. We have to have more of this public awareness type discussions to keep people to keep this topic in the forefront.
All right, well, we invite all the parents out there to encourage your kids to head on over to cartermario.com to enter the Carter Cares Scholarship. Again, it's great work that you're doing in the community, and we appreciate all the hard work that you're doing for us. But coming up next, I might have you sing, possibly. You think, we were talking about karaoke earlier.
Not good for the ratings.
All right, well, we need help. Julia